You've been lied to. Happiness isn't something you chase. Confidence doesn't come from success. And control, it's an illusion. For years, we've been conditioned to believe that fulfillment is out there, somewhere in the next promotion, the perfect relationship, the approval of others. But what if I told you that everything you need for a powerful, unshakable, meaningful life is already within you? That the secret isn't about adding more, but mastering less. This isn't about toxic positivity or unrealistic self-help advice. This is about Stoicism, an ancient philosophy that will rewire the way you think, react, and live. And trust me, once you embrace it, nothing will ever shake you the same way again. Right now, you might be feeling stuck, overwhelmed by emotions, trapped by expectations, paralyzed by fear. Sound familiar? We all crave control, yet life keeps proving that we have very little of it. But here's the hard truth. The only thing you will ever own is your response to the chaos. The world won't slow down. People won't always be fair. Life won't hand you peace on a silver platter. But with Stoicism, you'll learn to create it, right here, in your mind. And once you do, you'll move through life with the kind of quiet power that most people will never understand. In this video, I'm going to break down exactly how Stoicism can give you clarity, resilience, and total freedom from the things that control most people. I'll share practical steps, no vague philosophy, just real-world application, so you can start living this mindset today. But here's the catch. Some of what I'll say might challenge everything you believe. And that's a good thing, because if you've made it this far, you're ready for something different, something stronger, something that lasts. So stick with me until the end, and I promise, you'll walk away seeing life in a way you never have before. Let's begin. Number 1. The 48-hour silence challenge. All right. Here's a challenge that might sound a little extreme at first. Shut up. Yes, for 48 hours. No talking, no texting, no tweeting, no casual "how's the weather" conversations. Just pure, unfiltered silence. Now I know what you're thinking. Why on earth would I do that? Trust me, I had the same reaction when I first heard about it. But stick with me on this one, because this challenge might just change the way you think, the way you listen, and even the way you exist. We talk a lot, like a lot. We fill every silence with words, whether we need to or not. We explain, we justify, we joke to cover awkwardness, we blurt things out just to avoid that uncomfortable pause. And let's be honest, half the time we're not even really listening when someone else speaks. We're just waiting for our turn to talk. It's a cycle we don't even realize we're stuck in. But here's the thing. When you force yourself into silence, something incredible happens. You start hearing not just other people, but yourself. The mental noise, the endless inner dialogue, the thoughts you've been pushing down with distractions, they all rise to the surface. And guess what? You finally have to deal with them. The first few hours, torture. You'll feel the urge to comment on everything. Someone says something dumb, you'll want to respond. Someone texts you, your fingers will itch to type back. But the silence forces you to sit with that urge instead of reacting instantly. And in that pause, you start realizing something powerful. Most of what we say isn't necessary. We talk out of habit, out of ego, out of insecurity. But when you stop talking, you take back control. You start valuing words like currency. You only want to spend them when they actually matter. Now, let me tell you what happened when I tried this. I was at a family gathering, and normally I'd be in the mix, filling silences, playing peacekeeper in minor arguments, making small talk just to keep things moving. But this time, I just observed. And you know what I realized? People don't need you to fill the space. They will talk, they will figure things out, They will even fill in the blanks for you. And the best part? The moment I finally did speak, after 2 days of holding back, everyone actually listened. Because my words weren't just noise anymore. They carried weight. But this isn't just about social dynamics. This is about you. When was the last time you sat in complete silence with yourself, without a podcast playing, without scrolling, without filling the void with useless chatter? That silence can be uncomfortable at first, but then it becomes something else entirely. It becomes clarity. You realize what actually matters, what's just mental junk, and what you've been avoiding facing all along. And that's where the real power lies. So here's the challenge. 48 hours, no talking, no texting, no mindless communication. Just listen to the world, to others, to yourself. And when you finally do speak again, you'll understand why silence isn't just an absence of noise. It's a presence of something deeper, something most people never experience. But you'll get it. And once you do, you'll never hear silence the same way again. Number 2. Radical discomfort training. Let's be honest. Most of us are way too comfortable. We live in temperature-controlled environments, order food with a few taps, and avoid anything remotely unpleasant like it's the plague. And sure, comfort is nice, but here's the problem. It's also making us weak. Physically, mentally, emotionally, soft. So here's my radical proposition. Stop running from discomfort. Instead, seek it out. Yep, on purpose. Deliberately throw yourself into situations that make you uneasy, exhausted, or even a little miserable. Because here's the secret. Discomfort is the shortcut to unshakable strength. Now, before you roll your eyes and say, "Oh great, another embrace the grind speech," hear me out. We're not talking about pointless suffering. We're talking about strategic, controlled doses of discomfort that rewire your brain to handle anything. Cold showers, fasting, intense physical exertion, sitting alone with your thoughts. Things that feel miserable in the moment but forge resilience over time. The trick is simple. Train yourself to choose discomfort before life forces it on you. Because life will throw pain your way. And if you've never built the muscle to handle it, it'll break you. I learned this the hard way. There was a time when even the smallest inconveniences ruined my mood. Slow Wi-Fi, annoyed, long line at the store, frustrated, missed a text, anxious. Then one day, I decided to flip the script. I started doing things that sucked on purpose. Ice-cold showers every morning, grueling workouts when I didn't feel like it, walking in the rain without an umbrella instead of sprinting for cover. The first few days, absolute torture. But then something weird happened. The things that used to bother me, they didn't anymore. My threshold for discomfort expanded. The cold didn't feel so cold. The hunger didn't feel so unbearable. The little annoyances of life barely registered. And I realized I wasn't getting stronger because life got easier. I got stronger because I stopped needing life to be easy. This isn't about punishing yourself. It's about reclaiming your mental toughness, your grit, your ability to handle whatever comes next without falling apart. Imagine walking into a high-pressure situation, work, relationships, personal goals, and nothing rattles you. Why? Because you've trained for this. You've built a mind that doesn't break under pressure. That's the power of radical discomfort training. So, here's my challenge for you. Find something uncomfortable and lean into it. Take the cold shower, skip a meal, and sit with the hunger. Walk the longer, harder route. Do something that makes your brain scream, "Why are we doing this?" And then remind yourself, because this is how we get stronger. Comfort is a trap. Growth lives in discomfort. The sooner you embrace that, the sooner you become unstoppable. Number 3, ego death experiment. All right, let's do something radical. For 1 week, you're going to stop being you, not in a creepy, fake your own death and start over kind of way. No. I'm talking about stripping away the labels, the status, the little ego-boosting badges you wear without even realizing it. No titles, no humble brags. No, I'm the kind of person who statements. For 1 week, you're going to walk through the world as a complete nobody. And let me tell you, it's going to feel uncomfortable, awkward, maybe even a little humiliating, but on the other side, absolute freedom. Now, before you roll your eyes and say, "Why would I do that? My identity is who I am," think about this. How much of your daily life is spent proving something, proving you're smart, successful, interesting, worthy? We slip our achievements into casual conversation. We craft the perfect social media posts. We make sure people know we're not just another face in the crowd. But what if, just for a little while, you let all that go? What if you walked into a room and didn't try to be impressive? What if you introduced yourself without the safety net of, "I do this," or "I've accomplished that"? Scary, right? That's the ego talking, and that's exactly why you need to do this. I tried this experiment once, and let me tell you, it was brutal. At first, I kept catching myself slipping back into old habits. Someone asked what I did for a living, and I had to fight the urge to drop my usual well-rehearsed answer. Instead, I just said, "Oh, I do a bit of this and that." They nodded and moved on. No fanfare, no follow-up questions, no validation. And wow, did my ego hate that. But then, something unexpected happened. Without the need to perform, I actually listened more. I wasn't waiting for my turn to sound smart. I wasn't trying to shape how people saw me. I was just there. And for the first time in a long time, I felt light. See, we cling to our identity like it's solid, like it's us. But really, it's just a collection of stories we tell ourselves. And sometimes those stories become a trap. The more we build up our image, the more we have to protect it. We start making decisions based on how they look, not what we actually want. But when you strip all of that away, even for a short time, you remember something powerful. You are not your titles. You are not your reputation. You are not your resume. You are something deeper, something that doesn't need applause to exist. So here's the challenge. For the next 7 days, let go of the need to be somebody. Introduce yourself without your job title. Don't correct people when they underestimate you. Don't seek validation. Just be. It'll be uncomfortable at first. Your ego will scream. But by the end, you'll realize that the real you isn't found in how others see you. It's in how you show up when there's nothing left to prove. And that's the kind of person who can walk through the world with real confidence, the kind that doesn't need to be announced. Number 4. The 24-hour rejection marathon. What if I told you that for the next 24 hours, your only goal is to get rejected? Yep, not to succeed, not to impress, not to get what you want, but to be told no, to get ignored, to feel the sting of awkward silence. Sounds terrifying, right? But hear me out, because this might be the most liberating thing you ever do. Rejection is one of those things that controls us more than we like to admit. Think about how many times you've wanted to ask for something, whether it's a raise, a favor, a date, or even just an extra sauce at a restaurant, but stopped yourself because you were afraid of hearing no. We tiptoe around rejection like it's some kind of personal attack, when in reality, it's just a normal, everyday part of life. And yet, we avoid it like the plague. Why? Because deep down, we don't fear rejection itself. We fear what it says about us. That we're not good enough, that we're not worthy, that we shouldn't have asked in the first place. And that's exactly why we need to break this fear on purpose. So here's the challenge. For 24 hours, you are going to actively seek rejection. You're going to go out of your way to ask for things you know will probably get a no. Ask for a discount at a store, even when there's no sale. Ask a stranger to borrow their pen. Ask your boss for a project you're not qualified for. Ask for a free dessert at a restaurant just because you're feeling bold. The goal isn't to get a yes. The goal is to collect rejections like they're trophies. Because the more you get rejected, the more you realize it's not a big deal. And more importantly, sometimes you'll actually get a yes. I tried this once, and let me tell you, it was hilarious. At first, it was nerve-wracking. I walked up to a coffee shop and asked, "Hey, can I get this for free?" The barista just laughed and said, "Nice try." Rejected. But guess what? Nothing bad happened. No one threw me out. No one ridiculed me. It was just a moment, and then life moved on. Later that day, I asked a random store if they'd give me 10% off just because, and to my shock, they did. That's when it hit me. So much of what we don't have in life isn't because we're not good enough. It's because we're too scared to ask. This challenge isn't about annoying people or making ridiculous demands. It's about freeing yourself from the invisible chains that rejection places on you. It's about building the muscle of courage, because once you stop fearing rejection, you start living differently. You speak up more, you take risks, you stop waiting for permission and start going after what you want. And that is everything. So, are you in? For the next 24 hours, make rejection your goal. Go out, ask boldly, embrace the awkwardness, and see what happens. Worst case, you hear no, and you move on. Best case, you realize that rejection never had power over you in the first place, and that's the kind of freedom most people will never experience. Number 5, the "you are already dead" mindset. What if I told you that the biggest thing holding you back isn't time, money, or talent, but the illusion that you have something to lose? That the hesitation, the overthinking, the fear of failing or looking stupid, it's all based on a lie. A lie that says you have all the time in the world. But what if you didn't? What if, in the grand scheme of things, you were already dead? I know, it sounds dark, maybe even ridiculous. But stick with me, because this mindset might just change everything. We walk through life like we have infinite tomorrows. We procrastinate on dreams. We avoid hard conversations. We play it safe. All because we assume there's always more time. We treat life like a never-ending rehearsal, putting off the things that really matter. I'll start that business next year. I'll finally speak my mind when the time is right. I'll take risks when I feel ready. But here's the truth. You will never feel ready. And one day, without warning, time will run out. So the only logical thing to do, start living like you're already dead. Now, I get it. You're probably thinking, wait, so I should just be reckless? Quit my job, move to a monastery and start skydiving daily? Not exactly. This isn't about being careless. It's about being fearless. It's about removing the imaginary walls you've built in your mind and realizing that the worst-case scenario isn't rejection, embarrassment, or failure. The worst-case scenario is dying with regrets, never having truly lived. I remember the first time I applied this mindset. I had an opportunity to pitch an idea to someone who could change my career, but my brain immediately went into panic mode. What if they think it's dumb? What if I embarrass myself? And then it hit me. What if I'm already dead? What if this is my last shot? Would I really let imaginary fears hold me back? That thought flipped a switch. I walked up, made my pitch, and guess what? It worked. Not because I was overly confident, but because I let go of the fear that had been strangling me. The "you are already dead" mindset isn't about negativity. it's about urgency. It's about making decisions with the awareness that time is slipping away, that every moment wasted in hesitation is a moment you'll never get back. It's about saying what needs to be said, taking the risks you keep avoiding, and living, really living, without waiting for some perfect moment that will never come. So, here's your challenge. For the next 24 hours, make decisions as if you already died yesterday. And this is your second chance. Say the thing, take the shot. Do the thing you've been putting off. Because one day, maybe sooner than you think, your time will be up. And when that day comes, you'll want to know, without a doubt, that you lived. Thank you for watching. I truly hope this video gave you something valuable, whether it was a new perspective, a mindset shift, or just a reminder that you have more power over your life than you think. If you found this insightful, make sure to hit that like button. It really helps more people discover this message. And if you want more content on Stoicism, resilience, and mastering your mindset, go ahead and subscribe so you don't miss what's coming next. Also, share this with someone who could use it. We all know someone who's feeling stuck, overwhelmed, or searching for meaning. This might be exactly what they need to hear today. And before you go, drop a comment below. Let's talk. What's one Stoic principle that's helped you in life? Or what's something you're struggling with that Stoicism might help you overcome? I read every comment, and I'd love to hear your thoughts. Remember, your mind is your fortress. Control your response, and you control your reality. Keep growing, keep strengthening that mindset, and I'll see you in the next one. Stay strong.